And I'm just going to mute everyone for purposes of having a clean recording. Hold on, bear with me. All right, hold on, Laura, I got to unmute you. Where are you? Oops. We hit the button at the same time. Go ahead, unmute.
All right, good.
All right, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. All right, let me just do a quick introduction and then you can take it away. All right, so we have Lura Antokal with us tonight. She is an advanced, soon-to-be senior director. So exciting. She's from Park Ridge, New Jersey, and has been a consultant since September 1997. She'll be celebrating her 23rd Pampered Chef anniversary very, very soon. She's been married to her husband, Dan, for 32 years, and they have 2 sons, Eric and Jason. Her career sales are at $2.9 million, and she has 213 career recruits. Take it away, Laura.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what we wanted to do tonight is kind of give you guys a taste of, like Fred has been saying, about where we think a lot of the strength of our company comes from. Until March of 2019, I was a 100% in-home party person. Doing about 20 shows a month, averaging between $15,000 and $18,000 a month. And that's all I ever wanted to do until I started seeing some of the numbers from the company about what our virtual party world was doing. And I realized that I was missing the boat. And thank goodness, because March 2020, I was completely ready to jump in and go 100% virtual. The thing is that I do love the presentations. I do love telling people cool little tips. I branded myself as edutainment. That is my thing, is I like giving these weird little tips and these odd little things that kind of like some people like the tasty videos kind of thing, where it's just information, but people are watching. And my phrase that I love both at in-person parties and at virtual parties is, I didn't know that. Whatever it is, maybe it's something about a product, maybe something about a food, maybe it's something about a recipe. That's what keeps people's attention. So I really believe that as our world hits a new normal, that doing something live stream, whether it's just going live showing one product or offering live stream parties, is going to be a serious thing in the future. So be prepared for that, because I think that we need to continually shift. As the virtual party world has strengthened, people are looking for something that is even more personal. We're going to get into that tomorrow about bookings and selling and host coaching and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to give you a little taste of my live stream party. I've been doing about one a week, and they're a lot of fun. And especially it's for some people who are not on Facebook, but it's also for people who are on Facebook who just want a little bit more. Tonight, I am doing my favorite recipe, which is the Mandarin pasta salad. It's a very old school recipe, and we're doing it using mostly the products that are in the deluxe kit. I did add a few things that I just have to show because I was having withdrawals, but you don't have to use these extra products. You can make this recipe with just what's in the kit. So I am going to go into show mode. If you guys have questions, please put them into the chat. Jen is going to be monitoring that, and then we'll have lots of time for questions at the end. And there is no silly question. I'm very honest about the products. I'm honest about the business, honest about why I do what I do at my shows. And so I'm happy to answer any and all questions. So, hi everybody, my name is Lura, and I am going to be your Pampered Chef consultant tonight. Thanks all for joining us. I cannot wait to show you my favorite salad recipe. I do make this all year round, but it's one of those recipes that once you make it, especially if you bring it to a party or serve it for a family recipe, they're going to ask for it over and over and over again. And one of the reasons that I love this recipe is that it is put together in a very short period of time. It's got tons of flavor. It looks amazing. And most of the time when I make this, I can put it together if I'm starting everything fresh, everything from scratch. I can put it together in about 20 minutes. And if I have the chicken cooked already, which quite often I'll use this if I have leftover chicken, it's even a few minutes shorter than that. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I put this salad together. The other reason I love doing this as a demonstration for you guys is the fact that it is just an assembly. All the cooking is done already. So I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to have lots of time for answering questions. I'll be able to show a few products that I didn't get a chance to use, and we'll get you guys back to your lives. So the first thing that you want to do in this recipe is make the salad dressing. Now, it seems like an odd thing to start with, but the reason is that the salad dressing calls for an envelope of Lipton onion soup mix. And if you make this the last thing, the onions will still be crunchy. So I'm just going to put that envelope of Lipton onion soup mix right into the manual food processor. Already in there is some orange juice and some, it's a quarter of a cup of orange juice and a quarter of a cup of olive oil. And then goes a third of a cup of white wine vinegar. This is our Measure All cup. And the Measure All cup does two things. I love the Measure All cups because I want less things in my kitchen. I built this kitchen around Pampered Chef, but I still like less is more. I don't want products that I don't use. So the fact that I can use this for my liquid ingredients, and you can see here on the blue side, it actually gives you guides. So liquid here, you're going to pour in and pour out anytime you're using a liquid. So if you need a solid, you're going to be able to turn this over. So this is 1 tablespoon to 1 cup. You're going to be able to turn this over and press in the center. If you didn't know that, a lot of people have a problem with this. It says press right in the middle of that. Just push down and that releases it. Now let's say you need to do 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise or peanut butter or brown sugar, or something that is sticky like oil or honey or something like that. Stuff that's difficult, maybe not to measure, but stuff that's difficult to get out of the measuring cup. You can do that, and then all you're gonna do is push and scrape, and everything is where you want it to be. You do also wanna take this apart for cleaning. It doesn't get clean if you don't take it apart. We're gonna do some other things with the salad dressing in just a minute, but I wanna put that together. The manual food processor is not just for chopping onions or chopping nuts. This is for pestos, salad dressings, and pizza sauces, compound butters, cheese spreads, anything where you have to mix things together. Some of you may know our food chopper, which we've had like literally for 40 years. The food chopper is fantastic. It was actually my very first product, but the food chopper goes to the food. Here, the food goes to the manual food processor. I can make salsa with the food chopper, but I can make salsa in the food processor. I can't make pesto with the food chopper, but I can make pesto with the manual food processor. So to me, I call them cousins, kissing cousins, because they do some things the same, but a lot of things completely different. And it's just part of the family of products that you're gonna have in your kitchen to really make your life easy. We're gonna come back to the salad dressing in just a second. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make the pasta. Now for me, I am lazy. I know it seems weird that I'm the one who's doing the cooking here, but I don't wanna spend more time in the kitchen than I absolutely have to. It's one of the reasons I love my family of electrics here. But I make my pasta in the microwave in my Rock Rock. So this is the Rock Rock Dutch oven. It's our 4-quart Dutch oven. And I have in here a pound of farfalle pasta from the box. Everybody's got their own favorite brand. And the rule of thumb is that when you're microwaving pasta, you're going to put 1 cup of water for every 4 ounces of pasta. So this is a 16-ounce box, 4 cups of liquid. You can use any kind of liquid you want. I just used water because the flavor is going to come from other stuff. But if I'm making pasta for something else and I'm doing something, a very simple addition to the pasta, like our chicken bruschetta pasta, I will use a chicken broth or a vegetable broth or wine to make the pasta because you just need liquid. Now, just a tip. If you're doing wine, please do not waste 4 cups of wine to make your pasta. That doesn't help anybody and everybody cries a little bit. If you're gonna use wine, the wine does give your pasta a little flavor, but you don't need more than half of the volume of liquid to be wine. If you do use red wine, your pasta will turn pink and it gives it kind of hearty flavor. So especially if you have somebody who's maybe a vegan or a vegetarian, but they want a little bit more to their pasta, use red wine and it gives it a little bit more flavor to it. So this was just water. So in the microwave, lid on, 4 cups of water, pound of pasta, 6 minutes, stir it, 6 minutes, done, easy and ready to go. Now, tip with pasta, if you are eating your pasta hot, save a little bit of the water that's in there. Don't cook all the water out. You need that starchy water to help the sauce to adhere to the pasta. If you're putting pasta into a salad like this, you want to get that starch off the pasta, because otherwise you'll have it all sticky. And you can see how this pasta is not sticky. It's because as soon as it was done cooking, I wanted to stop the cooking process. I just ran cold water on here. I just had the lid on it a little bit so it didn't, and just drained off that cold water. And then it was ready to go, and it was waiting for me. So if I was making this from scratch, I could make that pasta and it'd be ready to eat in about 16, 18 minutes. All right, so this is just gonna go right onto my baby spinach. And you can do all sorts of fancy things with this and layering and pretty and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna use about half this pasta on this salad right here. And then the next thing for this recipe is grilled chicken. So normally if I was making this for my family, the pasta would be cooking in the microwave. I'd be grilling the chicken on top of the stove. While those two things are going, I'd be doing all the vegetables. So this can go together in about 20 minutes. I will be posting this recipe and sharing it with you as well. This is my favorite piece of cookware. This is the one I live and breathe by. This is how I make most of my meals. Why? Because you can cook fish and chicken and pork chops and hamburgers and hot dogs and steaks and paninis and grilled cheese and sausage and bacon and vegetables and pizza all on the grill pan. Remember, it's like an indoor grill. It's like an outdoor grill brought indoors. You want to preheat it, but it only takes about 60 to 90 seconds to preheat. And then as soon as it is hot and you want to test it, so I just flick a little bit of water on there, and you want that little water bubbles to dance. If those water bubbles just sit there, it's not hot enough. If the water bubbles immediately evaporate, it's way too hot. So you want those bubbles to dance. We like to dance. And then we're gonna take our chicken and we're gonna put it on there, and you're gonna see the grill marks that you get from the grill. Now you can see my chicken is really thin. So we're gonna come back to that in just a second. But chicken, that thin, on the grill pan, sear on one side, turn it over, sear on the other side, maybe 3 to 4 minutes on each side, it's ready to go. Simple and easy, ready to chop up, ready to go. I'm actually not gonna put the chicken on this salad because my vegan son is home, so I am not actually putting it on the salad, but you get the picture. So how do you get chicken that's cut that thin? You can spend a lot of money at the grocery store doing that, or you can use your closing cut. I know that the original purpose of this amazing product was to take your grapes, your cherry tomatoes, your grape tomatoes, your bagel, your mozzarella balls, your strawberries, whatever it is. Put it on here, close it down, those two gray platforms evenly distribute so that when you take your knife and you go through that, whatever's in there is cut evenly in half. Well, that's pretty cool. It's just not something I cared about. It's not something I did all the time. But I cook chicken all the time. And I don't know if you buy boneless skinless chicken breasts, but those things are massive. The average boneless skinless chicken breast is 1.25 pounds for one chicken breast, okay? And that's without augmentation, if you know what I mean. Maybe it is with augmentation, I don't know. But anyhow, I don't want to meet a chicken like that in the alley. It's scary. Those chickens are huge. It's not natural, it's not normal, but it's also hard to cook. A chicken breast that's that thick doesn't cook right. So we spend the extra money and instead of spending $1.99 a pound, we're spending $8 a pound because somebody else has done the work for us. That's crazy talk. I take my boneless skinless chicken breast. I know that a chicken breast looks like kind of like a teardrop. So think of the fat end in the front and then the teardrop end at the end. You're gonna put the fat in the front. Take your knife, cut it in half, cut each half in half, and now you have thin boneless skinless chicken breast, typically 4 fillets from every boneless skinless chicken breast. Here's a little tip. Most people groan at this one, but the FDA says that the average adult American should be eating 4 ounces of animal-based protein at a meal. What that means, if you're a math wizard, is that every 1 chicken breast should be able to feed 4 adults. Okay? How many of you go through the 5-pound package? It's way too much protein. And I'm telling you that this isn't, I mean, that looks decent on a plate, right? But that's just 1/4 of a chicken breast. So, closing cut does that. Now, usually the question I get is, how hard is this to clean? It's super simple to clean. There's nothing on here other than those platforms on springs. So if you have cut raw chicken in it, just goes on the top rack of your dishwasher like that, open like that, cleans up like a dream. If you don't, wash in this side, the water comes out. In that side, water comes out, it's ready to go. You can also use this to butterfly your chicken. Butterfly your pork chops, thin slice pretty much anything. So I love the closing cut. All right, so imagine that the chicken is on my salad now. It's not, but imagine. All right, let's move on to the vegetables. So the first thing we're gonna put on there is some cucumber. And for the cucumber, I'm gonna use a product that most people would never think of for the cucumber, and that is the apple wedger. Now, our apple wedger is different from a lot of other apple wedgers, primarily because it's got 10 wedge slices on there, not the typical 8. It actually makes it better for a lot of things. The reason that we have the cover on there is this is one of the sharpest tools in our catalog, so you really do want to have and store the cover on there. It's important. Well, I love my apple wedger, and it's not for apples. Yeah, you can do apples and pears, absolutely, but I make my own potato wedges. Have you ever looked at a bag of frozen potato wedges and all the chemicals and additives and all that kind of stuff on there? And what are you paying, $4 for like a 16-ounce bag? But if you think about a pound of potatoes, 16 ounces pound, yeah. So you can get the same potatoes for, I don't know, maybe $3, $2, I don't know, depends on what kind of potatoes you're getting, and make your own potato wedges. Make the seasoning on your own potato wedges match whatever it is that you're cooking, and it's so fast. They cook in the same amount of time. So what am I talking about? You're gonna take your potato, you have to use your imagination with me, by the way. You're gonna take a slice off the bottom of the potato so it stands up like that, okay? Because kitchen safety is very important. So you have your potato standing up, and you're gonna take your apple wedger and you're just gonna go down over the potato, and now there is your serving, as I throw the cucumbers around. That, if you imagine that on a plate, that's a serving of potatoes, right? But a potato of that size, potato this size, is about 60 calories. It's not necessarily the potatoes that are bad for us, it's what we do to the potatoes that are bad for us. Here's the other reason that I do this, and that is the seeds. Cucumbers are members of the squash family. You don't need the seeds on purpose anyhow of your butternut squash, or your acorn squash, or even your watermelons. We don't do that on purpose. And people wonder why they get an upset stomach, why they get a little acid reflux, because these are not digestible. And my oldest son, who has Crohn's, we take it out because he can't digest those seeds. So take your apple wedger, go down over those seeds, take those seeds out. That's simple. The primary nutrition in a cucumber is in the skin. And most of the time we take the skin off of it, and then it's just basically water, or as my husband says, icky water. So he's like, yeah, cucumbers. If you're doing a veggie tray, most of us take a cucumber and we take a slice off. All right? Now I want to ask you, be honest, is that one bite or two? Do you eat that with one bite? Or do you shove the whole thing in your mouth? Or do you take a bite? Do you double dip? No. This is a whole lot easier to dip into your sauce, into your dip, whatever. How much easier is it to take that cucumber and all of a sudden you have 30 cucumber spears in no time at all. So that is a great way to do your veggies. However, if you're putting these cucumbers on a salad, how much easier is this to cut into salad chunks than those circles? Simple and easy, all right? That's what we like in the kitchen. Is we want to get it done. We want to get it done fast. Got it. Now, next thing we're going to move on to is the quick slice. The quick slice has become my favorite product in the kitchen as far as cutting tools, because it does the job fast and efficient. This is an egg slicer on steroids. Now, I know some of you probably have an egg slicer. You might even have our egg slicer. And that egg slicer is fantastic, but it will do one egg, or one strawberry, or one mushroom. Whereas on the quick slice, you can do 4 or 5 at a time. But it will also do things that you could never do on an egg slicer because those wires would just pop all over the place. So there are 11 serrated blades on this frame. And you're just gonna put whatever it is that you wanna slice, you're gonna line it up, and I say close it like a book. So line up one side, and then just push down, and now you have sliced all that. Simple and easy, ready to go on. We love simple and easy, and here's the thing, one of the keys to good cooking is consistency. If everything is cut the same, sliced the same, cooked the same, measured the same, it's all better for you. It's gonna cook better, it's gonna cook more evenly. That's why your cookies all should be the same size. You should use the same scoop on your cookies. Your pancakes should all be the same size. Use your scoops for your pancakes. Do it all consistent, and you're gonna get a better cooking result. Simple. All right, so the cucumbers are going on there. And now we're going to move to another thing that we're going to use the quick slice for, because it's not just for things that are like this, but things that you would normally not think of in terms of an egg slicer. And for that, we're going to move to the peppers. So I want to put peppers on here, and I want these peppers to be diced. I want these peppers to be diced evenly. Yeah, I could do this all with a knife, but I can't do it this fast with a knife. How many of you do peppers and onions? How many of you do fajitas? Take your side of a pepper, put it on there, and now you have these perfect pepper slices ready to go. You want those diced? You want them diced? Fine. Take those pepper slices and put them back on there and cut again. And now you have perfect dices, all exactly the same. Simple and easy. So let's talk about peppers. Did you know that originally peppers start out green? And I'm not talking about the ones that have now been genetically modified. They don't ever become green. But if you go to a farmer's market, you're going to see green peppers that have some red on them. And that is because the red side has been exposed to the sun and it's gotten all sweetened up. So if you have anybody with any kind of acid reflux or something like that, there's a lot of acid in the green peppers. There's a whole lot less acid as the peppers ripen. And way back in the day, like, you know, when I was growing up, some of you are too young, you would get, the green pepper would go to red, red to orange, orange to yellow. So the longer a pepper stayed on the vine, the lighter the color would get. And that's why your orange and your yellow peppers tend to be smaller, because the peppers have been picked over. But you can see how quickly I just put all those peppers on there and they're all exactly the same. Love, love, love the quick slice. A couple of things I want to point out that you can do in this. First of all, it is dishwasher safe. It comes apart. This part right here we call the catch basin, and it's just a way to keep the food from getting onto your countertop. But I also do my chicken on here. I will take my cooked chicken and put it on here and slice it. Great for fajitas, for sandwiches, even for chicken salad and things like that. Pound cake, if you want to do the easiest dessert in the world, take a pound cake, even like Sara Lee, that kind of thing. Take about half that Sara Lee pound cake, put it on here frozen, slice it down of even 1/4 inch slices of pound cake. Scoop of ice cream, drizzle of chocolate syrup, second piece of pound cake, more drizzle, maybe some fresh strawberries, and you have a pound cake Napoleon done like that. And it's so delicious. People just love something simple like that. I'll tell you one more thing about peppers. And this is actually true for all fruits and vegetables. If you are not going to be using the entire fruit or vegetable, you want to cut it in a certain way. So most people would like cut the top off, right? And they would throw away the stem and the seeds. The thing is that the stem and the seeds is what keeps your fruit or vegetable fresher longer. So if I put this in a Ziploc bag and I put this the same day into a Ziploc bag, this will start to liquefy. It gets really gross and slimy within a few days. This will last at least twice as long. The seeds and the stem actually help absorb the moisture so that your fruits and vegetables don't go bad as fast. I don't know how many of you eat cantaloupe, but you know, so you have, okay, yeah, again, you have to use your imagination with me. This is the world's weirdest looking cantaloupe, but you'll get the picture, right? So if you look at a cantaloupe, there is a kind of a rough circle on one end and a pinpoint on the other. The circle is where it was slipped off the vine, and that's actually what it's called, is a slip. So you'll see it's like a scar on one end of the cantaloupe. And that's the part that was originally attached to the growing vine. And the other part is where the bloom started. So take your cantaloupe, okay? You want to cut it around the equator. It's important. If you're going to be using the whole cantaloupe or cutting the whole cantaloupe, cut it any way you want. But if you're going to be saving half of your cantaloupe, save the part that was originally growing. If you're going to be saving a portion of your onion, save the part that was originally growing. That's just all you have to remember, is what was originally growing, the stem end, the root end, or the vine end. All right, so this is your cantaloupe. Cut it around the equator. Save Santa, okay, because that's the North Pole, right? And eat the penguins. That's the South Pole. That's how you're going to remember this, all right? Because if you leave the seeds in the end that was originally growing, that part will not lose its flavor. It won't get slimy as fast. So it's just a little extra bonus tip for you. I am going to be using the veggie spiralizer. My veggie spiralizer does not get used as much for veggie noodles as you would think. I prefer the veggie strip maker for that. The veggie spiralizer I use all the time for my peppers and my onions, and most veggie spiralizers on the market could not do that, but the Pamper Chef one absolutely can. So you're gonna take your cup of your pepper, all right, and you want to try to pick one that's got a flat side so that the pegs actually stick in. And I want this to be super, super thin and quick and easy. I've taken that pepper and I have turned it into the thinnest possible slices. Maybe I'm decorating a Christmas tree, I'm not sure, but look at that. I don't care how good you are with the knife. You cannot do that with a knife. And you certainly can't do it that fast with a knife. So if you want really, really thin peppers, what did that take me? About 3 seconds to do? Simple and easy. Now this is going onto the salad, so I'm just gonna dice this up a little bit. By the way, #1 tool you need in a kitchen is a good knife. Honestly, nothing else matters if you don't have a good knife. Most of the people who don't like to cook don't have good cutlery. I believe that you really only need a good bread knife, a good cutting knife, like our 5-inch Sentoku knife, and something that you can do smaller things with, like our utility knife. Other than that, everything else is just, I don't know, specialty stuff. But those are the ones that I use all the time. My bread knife, my utility knife, and my Sentoku knife, because it does everything I need it to do. All right, I'm not gonna leave my spiralizer here because I'm gonna come on to the onion. Now, I do not need this entire onion on the salad. My husband is asking me not to put the entire onion on the salad, but I do want to tell you my onion story because this is really important. This is one of those tips that if you remember it, you're gonna love, you're gonna remember me, you're gonna say, oh my God, that tip, it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And here's why. We love onions because they make our food taste good. We hate onions because they make us cry. Onions make you cry for a very specific scientific reason. And that is because onions absorb sulfur from the ground that they grow in. And 90% of that sulfur is stored right here in the root end at the bottom of the onion. Now you'll know it's the root end not only because it's got the hairy end, but also if you ever cut into an onion, you see that solid cone at the bottom that is holding all the layers together. So the roots are coming out, you have that solid cone, right? We don't eat the solid cone. It's not really edible, it's a little bitter. But we cut into it all the time. In fact, most people, when you cut into an onion, will do one of two things. They'll cut the bottom off like that. Right? It's the first thing they do. Or they cut the onion in half like that because it's easier to slice if it's all held together, right? The problem is that as soon as you breach that core at the bottom of the onion, the maximum sulfur is released into the air. So all that sulfur that the onion has absorbed through the root end, which is stored in that core, is now floating around in the air. And guess what happens when sulfur comes in contact with saline? It forms a type of sulfuric acid. So the tears that you cry when you're cutting onions, because the sulfur is combining with the saline in your nose and your eyes, that's a type of sulfuric acid. You ever wonder why when you cry, when you cut onions, they hurt, right? I mean, if you're in pain and you're sad, your tears, you're gonna be, you might be in pain, but your tears shouldn't hurt. When you cut onions, your tears hurt, and that's because it's a type of sulfuric acid. So, anybody know what color sulfur is? Put it in the chat. You guys know what color sulfur is? Anybody? Well, I'm gonna tell you, and that is sulfur is yellow, okay? Sulfur and the yellow onions have the stronger sulfur in it. Red onions have a higher sugar content. It's just a chemical trade-off. The higher the sulfur content, the higher the sugar content, the lower the sulfur content. All right? So the sweeter the onion, the lower the sulfur content. So these don't make you cry as much as a basic yellow onion. Now, some of you may be saying, well, wait a minute, she must be lying because Vidalia onions are yellow onions and they don't make me cry. And that is absolutely true because Vidalia onions are grown in the no sulfur soil of Vidalia, Georgia, which is why those of us on the East Coast pay extra for those babies. And if you buy a Vidalia onion, you want to make sure there's a sticker on that. It says it was grown in Vidalia, Georgia, and in soil that has no sulfur in it. On the West Coast, it's Walla Walla, Washington, or Maui, but we don't get those fresh on the East Coast. So long-winded way of saying, how do you cut onions without crying? And it has been about 18 years since I've cried cutting onions, and I cut a lot of onions. And that is because I never release the sulfur. That end, you're gonna take your knife on a slight angle, okay? So you see the root end is up and down, knife's on an angle, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna spin the onion around. Sorry, I was not in camera. Spin the onion around, and that thing is gonna pop right out. That core is gonna pop out. This is the part you don't eat anyhow. Cut it out. It's just the root end. All right, just cut that part out. That's the part that's got 90% of the sulfur. Throw it in the garbage can, you're done. Simple and easy. Now, I don't want this tough outer layer. So at some point we will be having a special tool to peel onions, but I don't have that right now. So I'm just taking that tough paper off. Now remember that the more you bruise your onion, the more sulfur is released. And the older your onion is, the stronger the sulfur is. So if you have a bag, and you know what I'm talking about, that bag of old yellow onions, you're gonna cry. I don't care how you cut your onions, it's just gonna make you miserable. But I mean, I could do this all day and never cry because I've taken away most of the sulfur. I'm gonna take that onion right onto the veggie spiralizer. Are you ready? There's the shoot. And I want super, super thin slices of onions. And you can see I didn't cut very much of it, but that's more than enough onions for the salad. Simple and easy. This is a game-changing way to cut something, a tool that you would not normally use for onions. Okay, now just stepping out of mode for a little bit. At this point, I would actually stop and ask questions, and I'd ask people if they had anything specific that they wanted me to show or things that I wasn't clear on, because I want to do that before I moved on. Now, this is called the Mandarin pasta salad, which means I may need something Mandarin in there. For this, we're going to use Mandarin oranges. So, my absolute favorite product in the catalog, the one that if my house was on fire, I would take this baby and run because I can feed my family if I had the smooth edge can opener. I am a little neurotic about can openers. When I was 16 months old, I grabbed the edge of a can, the open can lid, and cut myself very badly. So I'll have the scar to prove it. So I've always been a little bit weird about cans and can openers. So, and these, that pull top can, these are more dangerous than the serrated knife that most can lids become. So our can opener does a couple of things. First of all, it is easy to use. I have hand strength issues, so I put this on the top. If you have questions about how to use this product, YouTube it or ask me and I'll give you a tutorial, but it's really easy. Just take that can opener, point it to the can. Anytime you point to anything, you always point to the middle of whatever it is you're pointing to. You never point to the side of something. You always point smack dab to the middle. That's what you'd want to do with the can opener. Take that can opener, point to the center, put it on, turn it on. Turn that baby on. Once it's on, it's locked on. And I love doing this at live shows because it freaks people out. It's easier for me with my hand strength to pick this up and do it like this. My left-handed son, though, can do it just fine. My mom, who has carpal tunnel, doesn't have to move her wrists at all. And if you really want to freak people out, do it upside down. It's okay. Once it goes all the way around, you're going to hear that click or feel a release in the pressure, and then you're going to back it off. And then you're going to say, oh my God, this thing doesn't work. Put that can back in the cabinet and pull out another one. Try another one. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. And then you're going to have rotten food in your cabinet. So don't do that. It is a two-step process. Once you go all the way around, you cut around the outside edge of the can, and now you're going to use this little pair of pliers here and the button on top to grab that can lid and pull it off. This stays clean, safe, and sanitary, never touches the food, never gets dirty, never needs to get washed because it never gets dirty. And more importantly, there are no sharp edges on this can lid or on the can. So that is the beauty of our smooth edge can opener. Easy read measuring colander. Yes, it's a measuring cup with holes in it. Seemed really silly to me when that was first introduced, and then I don't know how I could live without it. Because every time I open a can, I want to drain it and rinse it and measure it. Or if I'm doing something with fresh, I just splashed myself with orange juice. Anytime I'm doing something with fresh herbs, you need to measure the herbs dry. Because if you wash them and then measure them, it's not the same amount. So if you're picking basil, you want to measure them dry and then wash them. And guess what? You can do it all in the same tool. This actually hangs on the edge of my double sink. So if I'm draining something, it's draining right into the sink. A box of frozen spinach, just pop it in there, let it drain, press it out. In fact, what did I do with it? Our Measure All cup fits right in there to push out there. And if you do like tuna, this bottom end fits into a can of tuna for easy draining. You just put that can on there, obviously, without the oranges in there. And that open can of tuna fits on there, and you just press, to drain that tuna. Because the problem, quote unquote problem, with this is that it doesn't fit into the can anymore, which is just fine. You don't need it to. All right. Moving on and back to the salad dressing. We're gonna get back our manual food processor out. We're gonna spice this baby up. In addition to the orange juice, oil, and white wine vinegar and the onion soup mix, we're gonna add into there a teaspoon of our just plain white sugar. Excuse me, 2 teaspoons of sugar. For that, we're gonna use our adjustable measuring spoons. These 2 spoons come together as a set and replace 10 measuring spoons. So remember in the beginning, I told you I want less, not more. So this does it all. Why would I need all those individual spoons? And yes, I know we sell them, but I like these. If you're doing liquid, like our sesame oil, you're gonna put a little pressure down with your thumb on the black tab when you're measuring it. When you lift that tab up, when you lift your thumb up, some of that liquid might come underneath the tab, but it's still the teaspoon that you put in there. And you're just gonna dump that out, and you're gonna take it apart for cleaning anyhow. For the larger one, I actually need 2 teaspoons. Oh, I'm sorry. The small one goes 1/8 of a teaspoon to a teaspoon, and this is a teaspoon to a tablespoon. So I actually need 2 teaspoons of sugar, and that's done. Simple and easy. I could have done it all with this. I just wanted to show you the 2. All right. Now we're gonna put in there some garlic and some ginger. Second favorite product in the catalog is the garlic press. Please, 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 I beg of you, use this properly. And some of you might be going, wait a minute, what is she talking about? A garlic press is a garlic press. Do not peel your garlic. This doesn't work right if you use a clove of garlic in there. Use the whole clove of garlic, paper ends and all. Put the whole thing right into the press. Put that garlic where it belongs. Use the cleaning tool to get it all in there. And there's the skin. If you use peeled cloves of garlic, this doesn't have enough pressurization, enough rotation, whatever scientific tune you want to use. But there's nothing in there. It's all here, and this just gets flicked into the garbage can. But if you use a peeled clove of garlic, which is why most people who don't like this product don't like it, because they've used a peeled clove of garlic in there and they end up with an ushy-gushy mass of garlic stuck in there. So please, please, please use the entire clove of garlic, paper ends and all, and you can keep going forever and get all the garlic where you want it. All right, so that's my second favorite product in the catalog. And you never have to touch the garlic if you don't want to. All right, we're moving on to a non-pampered chef product because people ask me all the time, what do you do with ginger? This is your ginger peeler, all right? Do not waste ginger. Ginger is a miracle food. Ginger will help reduce nausea. It's great for morning sickness. It's great for cancer treatments. It's great for anybody with any kind of upset stomach. Maybe this again shows my age, but I used to get ginger ale when I was not feeling well as a kid. Most ginger ale doesn't actually have ginger in it anymore, so you got to do your own. But ginger is very, very fibrous. When you buy ginger, you're going to break off what you're going to use. Try not to buy more than what you're going to use in about a week, but if you do, you can always put it in the freezer. As you can see, when you break it off, it actually reforms the skin on there. It closes itself up, which is pretty cool. But you don't want to waste the ginger. So you're going to just take your spoon and you're just going to scrape that paper off the outside. You don't need to take off more than that. If you use a knife or if you use a vegetable peel or something like that, you're just going to waste too much. And we don't like that. Ginger is just amazing. So I'm just scraping down about 1 inch. And then we're going to use our fine microplane fine grater. I know this is not in the deluxe kit, but I love this. In a pinch, if you're doing this recipe and you only have the deluxe kit, you can cut off this chunk of ginger and put it into the garlic press. You'll just get more ginger juice. And I actually want the grated ginger. So ginger is incredibly tough and fibrous. So you want to grate it, and you want to grate it on something that's very sharp. This is our microplane fine grater. Obviously our microplane coarse grater is not available right now, so I'm not going to talk about that. But when you get this, you're going to say, oh, okay, I have no idea what to do with this. Yes, it comes to you like this. It stores like this. Folds flat, ships to you like this. Don't use it like this though. You want to open it up. You want to take your handle. This is not a button, it's just place the rest of your thumb and squeeze. And that unlocks the handle, and that allows you to go over a bowl or the standard box grater configuration or close it up for storage. So we're just gonna take that ginger. We're just gonna scrape a few times. I want about a teaspoon of fresh ginger. And then the time it takes me to say those 2 sentences, you can see all that gorgeous ginger ready to go into my salad dressing. By the way, the microplanes are dishwasher safe, but just a tip, not that I've ever done this, or not that I would admit to you, if you do not have a dishwasher, you don't wash this with a dishwasher, please go with the blades with your sponge, not against the blades with your sponge, because guess what will happen with your sponge? Yeah. The microplane fine graters for any hard cheese, the softest cheese you can do on here is Asiago, but anything hard like Parmesan or Romano, anything like that. But it's also for nuts, chocolate chips, ginger, garlic if you want to grate the garlic. You can grate all sorts of things in there. And if you got something really small, you're going to use the little holder on there. Like pour your chocolate chips in here. Remember that pound cake Napoleon I was telling you about? Just take your chocolate chips in here and grate those chocolate chips right on top and get this fine chocolate powder on top. It looks so gourmet, and all you've done is grate chocolate chips. Mix-in scraper. This is part of our family of silicone scrapers, not rubber, silicone. These are heat resistant to over 600 degrees. You can and should cook with these. You should never cook with rubber. Rubber melts at about, I don't know, something like 180 or something like that, and you're probably cooking it higher than that. So if you've ever wondered why your rubber scrapers have gotten smaller over time, no, you're not wearing them out. They're in your food. Sorry about that. Sorry. But our silicone is phenomenal. The head and the handle don't come apart. So I actually got sugar in my blades. Try it again. And now I'm just going to mix this all together. By the way, if you're left-handed, this also works lefty. If you really want to impress people, use it with one finger. And that is the salad dressing, and it's ready to go on to our salad. All right. I do have a couple other things I want to tell you about. We're at about 45 minutes. I try to keep my shows to 45 minutes. And again, coming out of cycle a little bit is that if you have a free Zoom account, you have to keep it to 40 minutes. So you want to make sure that you know how long your presentation is going to take. I usually at this point do talk about the guest special and the roundup from the heart specials, and I talk about the 4 products that are in those cycles. So that's my story. Jen, you want to come off the spotlight and open it up for questions? I see a lot of stuff in chat. I'm afraid to look.
All right. Well, you're off spotlight. So if anybody has a question, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm open to everything, honestly, at least about Pampered Chef.
Well, there's a lot of comments in the chat about all the great food tips that you shared, and everybody's saying awesome. What are you using for the video?
Oh, this is just Zoom.
Yep.
That's all I do. I only use Zoom. And I have a free account. I do share a paid account with somebody else. And if that's available, I'll use it. But a lot of times my hosts don't want to take more than 40 minutes. They want to keep it short just because that's, the adult attention span is 42 minutes long. I don't know if you guys know that. That's why if you watch an hour-long TV show, when you take out the commercials, it's 42 minutes long. So your best bet is to keep it to 40 minutes with questions and stuff like that. You'll hold everybody's attention for that long. If you go longer than that, it gets a little dicey.
Okay, so equipment-wise, are you using a ring light or anything else on a computer or a phone?
Nope. I just have all the lights on in my house. You can see there's some glare. There's really no way for me to fix that because if I bring in more lights, it just gets more glary. I don't have lights on any kind of dimmers or anything like that. It's not ideal, but it's okay. And that's a great question because like one of the directors on my team, David, he is a professional performer and he's got all these great lights and stuff like that. But I don't think that's what people want to see in the real world. You know, it's just like in an in-home party, make mistakes. Like you saw me make mistakes. You saw me flub lines. It's okay. I dropped my spoon. I would rather you make mistakes and be human. I think that's more important as far as the connection and the relationship that you're making. So don't worry too much about it. As long as you have some light, I'm okay with this being a little glary. As long as you guys could see what I was doing, that's really what's more important.
So you're not going for the perfect look, but fun, informative presentation, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, I on purpose don't want to be perfect. On purpose, because that's not real. People are not looking for, you know, watching something on the Food Network. They want to see, can I do that? Is that something that I could do? Not just as a business, but also using the products. They want it to be real. They want it to be something that they can relate to.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Great.
Is that Janice?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I have to take myself off the video, sorry. So my question is, when you invite people to the Zoom, how do you get them to, number one, say yes and agree to do it? Because, you know, a lot of people, either maybe they're not interested or they just don't want to. So how do you get a successful Zoom party going?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question, but Friel is also going to talk about her live stream parties tomorrow. So make sure you come back for that.
Yes.
So my first thing is that I make sure I offer live stream parties, and I put it out on my VIP group. And when I'm talking to people, either by chat or text or however I'm talking to them, I make sure that people know it's an option. Because some people are just like, well, I'm not on Facebook, or I don't want to be on Facebook. And some people are just like, I'm on Facebook all day, or I'm on the computer all day and I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to be looking for 7 days or 5 days or whatever. I just want to have my presentation. And these are typically people who are used to in-home parties. As the pandemic got longer and my parties that were scheduled for March and April and May realized that they were not happening, that's when I started turning those parties into live stream parties. So the audience is there because some of these people want a presentation. They want as close as they can get to being together with their friends, this is still more social than Facebook. So that's the first thing, is make sure you're offering it, make sure that you people know that you're doing it. The second is that the host, just like at an in-person party, the host does all the invitation. I can't invite her friends. So I provide the host with the graphic, with the, and about, just like inviting you to a live stream party on Thursday night at 8 o'clock, come and join us for 45 minutes and watch Lura make dinner for her family. I mean, it gets funny because I don't even have to feed anybody this. Like, this is my dinner for tomorrow night. I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Sure, yeah.
And I still get to write it off. But it's, it's about getting the host excited. What is it about the host that is excited about doing a live stream? So once I've offered it, and then I go through the regular host coaching. It's just, how are you inviting your friends to this? Not everybody is going to come on Zoom. Not everybody comes to an in-person party. Not everybody comes to a Facebook party. That's okay. That doesn't mean they're not going to order. I don't make that judgment. They get to make that judgment. My job is my job. The host gets to do the rest, and I help her to do that. I help to make that as easy as possible for her. How do I do that? I talk about the fun. I talk about it. I tease them. I like what I'm going to make. I don't tell them what I'm making, okay? Because I don't want somebody to say, oh, I don't eat salad, so I'm not going to. Right? 3 times when I've done these lives, the host has said to me, my guests want to make it along with you. Kind of like Tim and Sandy do sometimes. So in that case, I just told them what ingredients to get and what to prepare in advance. So I said, have the pasta cooked, have your chicken cooked, and everything else. So that got really interesting because it was much more interactive, and I was able to say to the people who I knew were cooking, I was like, well, what are you using to cut up your onion? How are you cutting your red pepper? And we could talk about what, oh my God, that's so much easier than what I'm doing. They're like, slow down, I can't do it that fast. So that became more of the fun aspect of being together and doing something together. So, but as far as getting people to the Zoom, it's a numbers game, just like with everything else. I think my last host invited 50 people via Evite, because she's not on Facebook at all. She invited 50 people by Evite, and she had 17 people on the Zoom call. That's standard in-person party numbers.
Right.
Okay. Does that help?
Thank you. Yes.
Great.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Great. What other questions? These are good.
All right, so Sarah Jobs asked, do you have the host interact at all on the live stream cooking party?
Great question. And yes, I do. She is my moderator because I can't see the chat and I have it on spotlight. Like for you guys, I could only see myself. I couldn't see you guys at all. So I can't see when anybody has a question. So I say to the host, can you please, stop. You can be not muted. I said, can you ask, feel free to ask me questions in the middle. They don't have to wait till the end. It's not like this was. Shout out questions, stop me in the middle, ask me to clarify, ask me to show, bring it up to the camera. I don't want everybody talking because life is, people don't mute or they don't know that they have background noise, and it just makes it hard for everybody. So the host is the one who's not muted, and she's in. And guess what? The host has just done my job. Yeah. So it's the middle of a, it's the part, sort of a conversation about, hey, you got paid in products and I got paid in cash. Which would you prefer next time?
Yeah. Great recruiting lead in.
Yeah, it's a great recruiting lead.
Everybody wants to know what that item is hanging from the cabinet behind you.
So most of the time when I go live, that's my phone holder, and it's shutting down right on where I'm working. This is what I do for Zoom. I set up a table and I have a stool on top of a table, so it's at face-to-face height, and so that people can see. But that's showing literally right my working space, so that when I go live, it's just that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Question.
And it's suction cups onto the glass. I just forgot to take it off tonight.
Oh. Hey, it works, right?
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
All right. Question about the spiralizer. When you did the onion, did you have a blade in there?
Oh no, the onion's already layered.
Okay. Yeah.
No, it's just the regular ribbon blade, the one that's always in there. No special blade. Oops. I just hit myself. It's just a regular blade. So for both the pepper and the onion, you don't need anything in there. To me, that's the specialty thing that I would guess that most people don't even use. They don't use it. And I'm going to be honest with you, the veggie strip maker is how we do our veggie noodles, because we want flat noodles like linguine. We don't want curly noodles. We want flat spaghetti type noodles. So I prefer the veggie strip maker for my zucchini and my carrot noodles and my summer squash noodles. But this I use all the time for onions and peppers. Seems like a weird thing, but I can't do it any other way than this. That makes a huge difference to be able to do thin onions like that.
That is just amazing. I don't think I'm ever going to slice an onion ever again.
Why would you? Why would you?
I got a spiralizer in a surprise box like a year or two ago. I'm going to have to break it out and start using it on my onions.
You know what, to be honest with you, it's a big ticket item. I don't expect everybody to get a spiralizer, but it's one of those, I didn't know that kind of moments. Exactly. That makes people look at other things. Yeah. Like, what else can I do with what I have, or what can I do with, what I'm going to buy? Like, what else? Yeah. That's where we get to put the value into the conversations. What else can you do that is thinking outside the box?
Yes. I'm scrolling through the chat for any more questions. Can you list the salad dressing ingredients again?
I can, but I was going to share it in the group.
Okay.
I can. But it is a quarter cup of regular vegetable oil, a quarter of a cup of orange juice. If you're really lazy, you can use the juice from the mandarin oranges. This one had sugar in it, so I didn't want to add that in there. So it's a quarter cup of regular vegetable oil, a quarter cup of orange juice, third of a cup of white wine vinegar. And if you don't have that, you can use rice vinegar. But I like the white wine. And then it's a package of Lipton onion soup mix. You can tell I make this all the time. 2 teaspoons of white sugar, which is optional. If you're doing the juice from the mandarin oranges, don't add more sugar to it. Mm-hmm. 2 garlic cloves, about an inch of grated ginger, fresh. Please don't use powdered ginger in a cooked item or like in a savory dish. Powdered ginger should really only be for baked products, not for cooked products. So if you're making a stir fry and it calls for ginger, do not put powdered ginger in there. It will be nasty. Sorry, little aside there. What else? The sesame oil, which is optional, but it gives it that Asian kind of hinted flavor. And it's only a teaspoon. So like that bottle, it's probably, well, I bought that bottle in March, so I've probably gotten 8 or 9 salads out of that.
Awesome.
But I will post the recipe. The recipe it is a Pampered Chef recipe. It is you can search for it. And if you are gluten-free, first of all, the only pasta that works in the microwave in the Rock is Barilla. The only gluten-free pasta that works in the Rock. Any other kind of gluten-free pasta gets really gummy. You want to make sure that's done on top of the stove. But you can make this totally no pasta at all and just add more veggies. Do more spinach and more veggies, and that's fine. This just makes it a meal for us with the pasta in it.
There you go. Do you switch up your recipes for your Zoom parties, or do you typically do the same 1, 2, or 3?
I am really boring. My recipes have a purpose. My recipes are to show the products as fast and as effectively as possible. So I want you to notice that I did cookware, rock, knives, garlic press, can opener, a lot of cutting tools, okay? Major collections. Okay, but I only need to show one. Like, I didn't need to have all 400 products on my table. And there were a lot of things I never talked about because they just happened to come in the deluxe kit, but I didn't talk about them because I didn't work for this recipe. So I have a stable is what I like to call it. There's 3 recipes that I make all the time. I will offer my host a choice of 2. Since I started doing live stream, I didn't offer them a choice at all because it was based on what I had in the cabinet. I wasn't going to go grocery shopping in the middle of the week. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, other than the fresh veggies, I have the pasta, I have the chicken, I have the mandarin oranges, I have the makings for the salad dressing. And I've made this recipe and I said, sorry guys, I don't have spinach. So this is just going to be a pasta salad and not with spinach in it. But they don't care. I'm telling you, the recipe doesn't matter other than to what product is it showing off or what product are they being able to get the experience of. The chicken bruschetta pasta is the other one that I do all the time because I am a firm believer that rock is for a lot of people that are trying to simplify their lives, to have one tool that can do everything, that it can go on top of the stove and in the oven and under the broiler and on the grill and in the microwave, freezer, refrigerator, dishwasher, blah, 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 slow cooker. Yeah. Like they don't need anything else unless they're making pancakes. I mean, if you're going to start with one thing, that is going to be for a lot of people. That is kind of like that, and I'm sorry, if you can make pasta in it and then for dessert, make brownies in the same product, like, okay, like, why do you need anything else? So, I mean, I've gotten away, like, I've been very careful lately about not showing products that aren't available. So you don't see any stoneware on my table, but it's okay. It's the summertime. I never used to take stoneware to my shows in the summertime either. Like, people weren't baking in the normal world. So the answer to the question is I typically tell the host what I'm making. In an in-person party, the conversation would go like this. Is there anybody who is attending your party that is vegetarian, gluten-free, or allergic to anything? Because this has become important. And based on the response to that, I have a gluten-free recipe, which is the Mexican quinoa bowl. Which again, shows off the rock. It shows off, you can do chicken in there. It shows off a ton of products. People don't know what to do with quinoa, and it's amazing when it tastes good. The chicken bruschetta pasta. And if it's a vegetarian recipe, I'll either do the Mexican quinoa bowl vegetarian, or I'll do the salad vegetarian. The other salad, if somebody's had a salad recently, the 4th option is the julienne Asian veggie pasta salad. I will post all these recipes in the group. They're all Pampered Chef recipes. I don't know if the chicken bruschetta pasta isn't, but it's been around Pampered Chef forever. But the other ones are. And the point of the test kitchens is to make recipes that show off our tools in an effective and efficient way. But I only do one recipe. I've only ever done one recipe at my shows. I want to keep my shows short. People see what they see. And I know there's a lot of people on this group, I'm not pointing fingers because I can't see her, but the one that's right there, who does multiple recipes. I don't. I do one recipe. I do a lot of air demos, if that counts. But I also want to make my job look simple. I want to make my job look doable. If people look at me and go, oh my God, look at all those dishes you have to do. You know, not so easy.
Right.
That answer the question?
Yeah.
Good.
Mel says that she just used the Barilla chickpea rotini last week live on Facebook in the Rock, and it was amazing.
Yay. Yeah, for some reason, it's the only gluten-free pasta that I've been able to work properly in the microwave, but it's always been good.
Awesome.
I mean, honestly, you blow people away. You can say, I'm making pasta in the microwave. And they're like, ew. And I'm like, okay, if I hadn't told you that it was made in the microwave, you would have no idea it was made in the microwave.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm sorry. And this is literally what I say is like, how many of you boil pasta on top of the stove? Everybody raises their hand, right? And I say, great. Where do you have to be when you're cooking pasta on top of the stove?
Right there.
Right there. What happens if you walk away or you get distracted by something or all of a sudden you're upstairs changing the laundry? What happens? Not good things to your dinner, right? You have to be there. No, I don't work that way. I'd rather not be in the kitchen. I'd rather be doing something else. So the only thing that's telling me that my microwave is yelling at me when it's time to do something. So I push some buttons, I stir it once, push some buttons again, and I walk away. And that's it. It's ready for me. And that's real life. You know, that's what people need. They need those ideas, even if they never do it, to know that it's possible.
Right.
If you have the right tool to make spaghetti and meatballs in under 50, forget the 30-minute meal, make it in 15 minutes. You know, that chicken bruschetta pasta, I can put together in 15 minutes from start to finish. And people are like, what? I said, yeah, it's a restaurant quality Italian pasta dinner. We call it the panic dinner, which normally panic and food is not a good thing to go together. But if I can put a good meal on the table in 15 minutes and I'm not stressed out, it's a win. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for reasons to give people that, okay, check that off my box. I don't have to worry about what I'm feeding my family. I don't have to worry about putting dinner on the table. You know, because running out to the drive-thru is not so easy anymore.
No.
Right?
Absolutely. All right. So some people want to know, where did you learn all of your facts, like your food facts and your products tips? And this is from a new consultant. Okay.
So I'm going to give you a true answer, and it's also the funny answer. Tish and Friel. A lot of my, honest, it's honest. It's like, Friel's like, now you come on camera.
Yeah, I'm like going, tell them where you learned some of this.
I give credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
And Tish was one of my first trainers ever 23 years ago in the basement of the church, right, Tish? I still can't say the things the way that Tish is too funny, and it's, whatever. So let's ask her about Irish cooking.
Irish cooks?
Yeah, Irish cooks, what's that? I don't like to cook, okay? I have to cook. I love to bake. If I could bake all day, I'd be happiest person around. But my family required food on the table and not muffins and cupcakes. So I had to learn this stuff. I was the person kicking and screaming, going to a Pampered Chef party. I was the one sitting all the way in the back who just couldn't wait for the show to be over because there was no point in me being there. I don't want to cook. Why am I buying products to do something I didn't want to do? Like, I don't want to. Like, I avoided it at all costs. Ask my husband. I'm like, can we order in? He's like, no, you have to cook. No, but he's a good cook too. So I learned, okay, it's an apple in this recipe, what can I tell you about an apple? It was a lot harder 23 years ago to get this information than it is right now. But if you want to know something about an apple, Google it and you find out what it means when the end of the apple is closed up and when it's open. Okay, you can find that out. Here, I'll give you a good one. Ask your guests, what's your favorite kitchen hack? Okay, this one. All right, how many of you make deviled eggs? Okay, this is, right, okay? How many of you make deviled eggs and once you cut into that boiled egg, the yellow is right up against the wall of the white and it's really fragile and it's not pretty and it's not gonna make a good deviled egg. So here's the solution. This came from a customer because I was saying, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, there's a fix to that. I was like, what? She goes, okay, buy your dozen eggs, right? When you bring it home, lay it on its side, okay? Rubber band it closed so it doesn't open up. 3 hours, okay, I know you know this, okay? 24 hours on its side, like this, okay? The yolk centers in the egg. It's magic. You boil those eggs using a quick cooker or water or steaming or whatever you're doing. The yolk doesn't have time to move before the white is cooked. And guess what? That yolk is in the center of the egg every time. It's like, what? Right? Okay, so ask people, tell them, be honest with them. This is my struggle. All right, I'm gonna give you another one. When our decorator bag set came out, I said, well, now that my boys are grown up, great, because I couldn't decorate a cake for nothing. And now I said I like to bake. I like to bake simple stuff that doesn't require anything pretty, like cookies, okay? If it has to be pretty, forget it. Even my cookies aren't decorated, okay? So I said, this is pretty cool, but it's a little late for me. And my boys have short names, Eric and Jason. I couldn't fit happy birthday Eric or happy birthday Jason on a cake without being like off down the side. Now this is what I'd say at my parties. How many people can relate to that, right? So somebody at my show said, oh, that's an easy fix. I was like, oh, please tell me. She said, this is your cake. Your cake is frosted. You take a toothpick and you write in the frosting what you want it to say when it's decorated. If you're off center or it doesn't work, guess what? You erase it and you rewrite it with the toothpick. And once it looks the way you want it to look, then you pipe it in. Oh my God. I was like, what? But here's the thing is that if you are human and you say, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to stop crying when I cut onions. I don't know how to pick a good pepper. I don't know how to do this. Who knows? When you ask for help, guess what? People love to share their knowledge. They love to say, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to make a good goulash. I know how to, whatever, do blah, 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 whatever is, do pizza on the grill. I don't know, whatever it is. What's your favorite? What's your favorite summer recipe? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite dip? Can you share the recipe? I can tell you that I have gotten some amazing recipes from my customers because I ask, what's the one recipe that when you see, you think of your family tradition or you think of your mom? That is amazing, the responses. Oh my God, people are just like, especially in a block party, you get like people like, oh my God, you're making me cry. My mom used to make that too. And like, what's your recipe have in it? Blah, 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 blah. I might as well not be there. Okay? I'm completely irrelevant because guess what? They're having a moment. So ask questions. Every post that you do should end with a question. You want their feedback, but ask, what's your favorite kitchen hack? What's the worst thing that ever happened to you in a kitchen? Kitchen disasters, great stories. Oh my gosh. What's the one thing in your refrigerator that you think is not in anybody else's refrigerator? Really gross things have come out from that one. Really gross. And I don't think I'm even allowed to say them because they're not PG or PG-13. Well, I think the grossest one was praying mantis eggs, but yeah. Yeah, Judy's like, supposedly they're great for the garden. I don't know. I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like the tips, there are books out there, but nobody reads a book anymore. Google everything. So this was it's not the question, but it leads into it. On March 13th, when the world, fell apart, we didn't know what was going to happen, right? We didn't know what was going to happen to our businesses. Those of you who have signed on since then, you don't get that sense of like, uh-oh. And our team got together and we said, okay, what do we do? And we said, well, if nothing else, let's keep our customers because they're going to need us. They're going to need us. Maybe they need us now. I don't know. Because we didn't know what was going to happen, but they're definitely going to need us in the future. We don't want them to wake up on October 1st and go, wait, what was her name? Okay. So what I decided to do is starting March 15th on my business page, I do a today's tip. And the actual reason why I started that is that somebody said to me is I feel like I'm on a cruise ship where they have to put the thing in the middle of the elevator floor and tell you what day of the week it is. Because people were losing sense as to what day of the week was going on because their schedules were all off. So I do today's tip, Friday, August 7th. And there is a national day of the whatever calendar. You can subscribe to it. Gemma's shaking her head. And you get some really weird things. But today I had a choice. It was either National Beer Day or National Raspberries and Cream Day. I didn't know what to do. But when it's something like the other day, it was National Mustard Day. Well, I went to Google and I went to Wikipedia and I copied and pasted, I always give credit, copied and pasted the origin of mustard. What does mustard come from? Where are the different kinds of mustard? People are like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know. I've now gone almost 4 months of today's tip. You could start that anytime, but the information is all on the web. Mm-hmm. Take one of the blogs and take it apart. Each section of the blog can be a day of your week. So this week, we're going to talk about making your backyard fun. There's a whole blog on that. Do one post a day on your VIP group or on your personal wall and give them that idea, that link from your personal website. It'll send them back. Guess what? Doesn't matter whether they order anything or not. You are providing value to them. Maybe it's just a little entertainment. Maybe looking for an idea. Ask them, what's your favorite summer food? Okay, and build your comments from there.
Does that go on your business page or your VIP group?
Yes.
Both.
So I always post to my business page and then share from my business page to my VIP group. I have 800 people on my business page and almost 3,000 on my VIP group. So the interaction is on my VIP group, but I want to follow the rules. So I post it on my business page and share it to my VIP group from my business page. So the answer is yes. And I don't do anything on my personal wall because I don't have anybody on my personal wall other than my Pampered Chef consultants. I don't have a life outside of Pampered Chef. They're all my friends. So, I mean.
Happy family.
That's right. Good question. But the tips, there's so many out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, all you have to do is you have to say, okay, peppers, okay? Just go and look up peppers. I mean, where do mandarin oranges come from? I don't know. Like, what is this really? I don't know what this is. Find out. What's the difference between a red onion and a yellow onion? You can find it out like that. And if you don't know, ask your upline, because I bet they know. Or ask Frial, ask her everything. Just, I'll give you her email address after this. Great. What else? It's 9 o'clock. We still have some time.
Well, there was one question. I'll jump in on Jen here. Somebody, which is a very good question, because that's why you're here this weekend. And you don't have to hear from me tomorrow. She took my whole training segment. If you don't have a lot of these tools yet because you are new, what do you do? Just use what you have?
Yes.
That's from Kimberly.
Yes. So you started with the basic kit, the starter kit?
Kimberly, are you still here? Unmute yourself.
Okay, so if you started with the starter kit, you have the everyday pan. So you just do a half a box of pasta. You have the manual food processor. You have the quick slice. You have the utility knife. You have the flexible cutting mat. You have the garlic press, mix and chop and mix and scraper. You could honestly do all of these vegetables either with a knife or with the quick slice. I had to get permission because I had to show off the apple wedger because I couldn't live without the apple wedger. And it's one of those things people are like, so in my shows, I say, how many of you have an apple wedger? Almost everybody puts their hand up. And I said, what do you do with your apple wedger? And they're like, what? Like, what do you mean? What do I do with my apple wedger? I was like, oh, I occasionally use it for apples, but I use it for potatoes and cucumbers and zucchini, especially if you're making zucchini fries in the air fryer. Hello. Yeah. Okay. But the starter kit is everything you need to make this recipe. You just have to adapt it a little bit. Yeah. You're not going to talk about the closing cut. You can still talk about any product that's in the catalog. And I'm telling you, half the time I'll be talking about something like that, I don't know, the decorator bag set, and I do my whole thing. People are like, can you show that again? Can I show what again? You know, the decorator bag set. You mean the thing that I air demoed that I didn't actually have in my hands? Yeah, that. Yeah, so you don't need the products. And if there's something like, say, the chicken, you don't have the grill pan, have your chicken cooked beforehand. I did. I wasn't going to show it live. I can still talk about it. You can still say to people, oh my gosh, the best piece of cookware is blah, 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 blah. If you are looking in the online catalog, it's on page yada, yada, yada. You don't need more than what you have. And you can always adapt almost every recipe to what you have. If you need a product to do something and it's not a Pampered Chef product, just talk about it as if you did it with a Pampered Chef product, but don't show it. Don't show the non-Pampered Chef product, except the spoon. Which, by the way, is also the best kiwi peeler in the world.
Good to know.
No,
she's like, Rail's like, no.
A scoop and spread, the best kiwi and avocado peeler. Try it.
It's hard to squeeze with my hands, so that's just me.
The scoop and
Everybody's got their own thing.
spread?
Oh, the scoop and spread. I'm thinking of scoop loop. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't use a scoop loop. No. Try the scoop and spread. You'll be very surprised.
I have the old avocado knife. That's what I use.
Yeah, but we can't show that.
I know. All right.
And Jen, you actually brought something up, which I love it when there's a product in the catalog that I will not sell people.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds bizarre. But to me, it inspires trust. The avocado peeler was mine for a really long time. I would say to people, excuse me, don't you have a butter knife? I don't get it. I don't get why you need this thing. It looks just like a butter knife to me, and I know you already have a butter knife. Don't waste your money. People loved it. People fought back. And that was okay, because the point is that I was being honest about what works in my kitchen. I do not need all 420 products in the kitchen. I'm not going to use them. There are products in the catalog that don't work for me with the way that I cook. Okay, I need to be real and honest about them. And it's okay if you don't like something, as long as it's for a reason that is personal. If you say, I don't like the rock crock, you need to learn more about the rock crock. It's just my personal opinion.
Laura, I'm going to jump in, and here's something. When I do the trainings too, I'm in the same way you are. I'll be brutally honest with people when but I'm also representing my company, because this is my company, my business, right? So I'm not going to badmouth any product to a customer. Okay, so when someone says to me, so Friel, do you love the chocolate drizzler? No. No, to me, that's a total waste of money and time. But what I'll say to them, you know what? If I ate chocolate, which is a blatant lie, okay? But I mean, I'm not a big chocolate user, and I'm an old guard kind of person. I really love the pastry bag. So for my kind of cooking and baking, I don't use it on a regular basis, but I do know many people that really do enjoy it. So that's how I would say it. It doesn't fit into my lifestyle or my kind of cooking or baking, but I know, and I have many customers and guests that absolutely love it.
Right.
And that's true. because everybody loves a product that I have no interest in. You know, but that's how you want to represent yourself, because this company is your business. So you don't want to say, oh no, that's a piece of crap, don't even go near it. You know, you can't do that.
I did that with the avocado peeler. And there's a couple other ones. But honestly, they're little ones. I mean, it's not the big stuff. I did see somebody put in the chat that they didn't like the pineapple wedger. And this is actually one of the great things, is that you start a conversation. And it's okay. I say to my people in my party, if there's a problem that you're having a problem with, I want to help you.
Yeah, I want to know.
Right? I want to know, because resentment of a purchase is poison.
Yeah.
So if you can help somebody, like when you go to these parties and somebody like, oh, hi, I have a stone. It's still in the box from like 20 years ago. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let's get it out. Let's do something on it. Because that's what they appreciate.
And after I've done over 7,000 shows, and I know Laura's probably right there with me, and so is Tish. But what it is like, the reason they don't like it is because they haven't used it, or their former consultant or whoever they saw did not teach them how. I mean, how many of you know we sell a veggie spiralizer, but you're like watching her going, oh my God, why do I not own this? Or, oh my God, I got to pull it out. Well, even Jen said it. Do you know what I mean? So if you're doing your job as a consultant, you're going to have them fall in love with that product that they thought they hated or didn't need, or they bought. I don't know why I bought it. She talked me into it. So that's where you're going to say, oh, I'm so happy you told me that. And they go, really? Yeah, I'd love to meet people who bought a product. I hate the idea of a poor, lonely stone hidden away as the unwanted child. Okay, so you make a joke about it, but you know what? I promise you, as soon as I get home, give me your email. I'm going to get you some recipes and ideas to get that thing out of your box.
Right.
And you're going to write me a thank you note and send me a Christmas card every year. So that's how you want to really, but I want to call out the elephant in the room before they do.
100%. 100%.
Right?
You have to address it, because that comes back to providing value, to being of service, to helping people, because you want to.
And then you become their consultant now. You are now
hero.
their consultant.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So I do get all the time people don't like the pineapple wedger.
Yeah.
And it's because, and my husband is going to laugh at this, the tendency with your pineapple wedger is to be aggressive about it and to push. Okay. So remember, with your pineapple, you're going to cut off the top and the bottom. I'm not going to do this whole thing about how to pick a pineapple, blah, 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 blah. But if I imagine, if you will, that I had a pineapple here. Okay. I could push down with all of my weight on a pineapple and never go anywhere. And I do this at a show. If I have a pineapple, I also look, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't work like that. So I say, no offense to anybody in the room, but don't be a man, be a woman. Don't hulk it, rock it like a baby. Do this, and it'll go right through all the way to the bottom, finish it in there. But it's that kind of thing where you want to show them, and I will do that's one of my live videos, because people get that all the time. There's like, they have it, they want it to work, and then they get frustrated.
Well, I mean, the easiest way to do the pineapple, and the way that is after you cut the top and the bottom off, put it on its side and cut it in half again, and that makes it super easy, whether you're short, tall,
That's if
fat,
you're
skinny.
short.
Huh?
That's if you're short.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, we're not all 6 feet tall and 6
And let me tell you, grilled pineapple, because after you do the pineapple wedger, you do the apple wedger over that cylinder, and you grill that on the grill pan. It's the best dessert ever.
Yep.
Grilled pineapple spears. Oh my God, no sugar, no nothing. Just grill that pineapple. It caramelizes the outside, and you get this incredible smell. And oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. It's just about the knowledge, guys. It's just about the knowledge. Once they know, but you want to be the one that says, I want to know what product you bought and it's gathering dust, or it's making a really nice doorstop in your pantry. Because then you're going to say, what made you, then think back to what made you buy it. I say to them, I said, okay, now you are now my challenge. I'm going to prove to you. And then you start giving them.
For you newbies, the most important sentence that you can utter is, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out and I will get back to you.
So we both know is the phrase I always use. You know, I don't know the answer to that, but we're both going to find out together. And then you get back to them.
Right.
Yeah.
That gives you loyal customers for 23 years or however many, because how often does somebody say, I don't know, and leaves it at that? But if you say, you know what, I don't know, I'm human, I don't know the answer to everything, but if I'm going to find out, we're both going to find out together, I'm going to steal that from you.
Yeah.
And now you're friends, you've got a connection, like it's the start of a beautiful relationship.
And I know for me, Tish, Laura, you know, all of us, old guard, Sue, all of us, one thing we're going to tell you, don't make up shit. Okay, pardon my language, but you are making the rest of us consultants look really bad when you do that. Don't make stuff up. Just be honest, say, you know what? I'm new. I'm discovering my love for these products. You probably know more than I do. Let's find out, get the right answer for you, and then we will both know. And that's professional, that's honest. And if you don't know, then you call a seasoned consultant, you call your director, you look it up on the website, you Google it, go to YouTube. Every product ever invented by Pampered Chef is on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So you are so lucky now to be able to do this research, but don't make it up, because when they come to another show and they see one of us, not only are you going to look foolish, but it's making us look foolish as well. So don't make up stuff if you don't know.
I thought everything that Pampered Chef sold had a lifetime warranty. That's what my consultant told me as they bring me the mini serving spatula that is obviously over 20 years old that they spent $5 on.
It's got a wooden handle. It's got a wooden handle, yeah.
And it's little things like this, like on a lot of products, there's actually a time and date stamp or as to when it was produced, when it was made. There's a clock on there, and I can say, oh, look at this. This was actually made in 2004. Yes, this is a 16-year-old scraper. What? I mean, that's the kind of thing that impresses people. And it's the little things like that, that if you don't know, find out. If you don't know what the warranty program is, please don't make it up. Because we do suffer for that when people go, oh no, I was told.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Great question.
I just say go back to your consultant then. And they, you know, and I love it because for all of us old guard, they're like, well, are you sure? Well, I've been here, you know, I mean, really, I laid the first brick, for God's sake. Okay. You know, I said, well,
that's
in my
true.
28 years, yeah, shut up. In my 28 years, I never, you know, and they're like, oh, 28 years. Oh, well, all right then. Like, you know, but you know, like it does, yeah, don't make it up. Look it up. I always say, make it up.
Just ask.
Yeah,
just
don't make it up. Look it up. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
great questions. Couple more?
Yes.
More?
Lisa Myers wants to know if you have a script for the demo or do you just wing it?
Neither. I follow. First of all, it's a great question. First of all, I've done that recipe probably 1,000 times, probably. I do have the recipe in front of me because I will forget something, but having it is a crutch. If you don't know what you're saying, my recommendation is that you write out your script based on the product that you're going to pick up, not on the ingredients of the recipe. So if I was starting my script, and people don't care that you're reading from a script. I'm going to tell you right now, do not try to memorize everything. That is not human. Okay, the only reason I didn't have to do that is because I've done that same script, that same spiel probably 1,000 times. If I didn't do it from heart by now, there's something wrong with me, not with the script. But if you have your piece of paper written out and you're like, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the rock rock. What do I need to say about the rock rock? How did I cook the pasta in it? That's step number 1. Step number 2, chicken. What do I need to say about cookware? Okay. At some point, you're going to have a script. Okay. Honestly, you guys already have the scripts from your virtual parties. You do. Okay. This is your script is supposed to be you talking. So what you're saying in your virtual parties about the grill pan should be something you should be able to say face to face to somebody, not the words from the home office. It should be you talking. Sorry, little soapbox on that one. But eventually, like after maybe the 10th time, when you look at your script, you're not reading it anymore. You're just like, okay, next thing I need to do is the rock crock, blah, 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 blah. Next thing I need to do is the grill pan, blah, 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 blah. Because you're talking about the recipe in order of the products that you use. It's a logical progression of how the recipe is coming together. Okay, if you need to have a reminder that, I don't know, the manual food processor is the #1 thing that your hosts get with their free product benefits, have it highlighted on your script or have a sticker on your manual food processor or something to kick you in the head about, oh, now I need to do this. But yeah, I did 23 years ago, I started with a script, but my script was a recipe written out step by step as to what I wanted to talk about next. And as I got better and better at it, I read it less and less until all of a sudden I forgot my script. Oh, well. But I'm going to say this is like, if somebody says to you, I want to make sure that I'm telling you everything you need to know about the rock crock. Are you going to be mad that they're reading it from the catalog? Right? I mean, you're doing, as a consultant, your job is to inform them as to why this product can be, can change the way they cook. I don't think they care that you're reading the words that the home office paid a whole lot of money to some marketing expert to write out. Use the catalog. It is the best guidebook that we have. Everything you need to know about stoneware is right there in the catalog. Everything you need to know about cookware or the rock crock or the knives, it's right there. You don't have to invent it. You just have to speak it up with your voice. So for these, if you're not used to doing an in-person party, you do want to have some script, some props, some guidance, some idea, even if it's just laying out your products in such a way as like, I'm going to do this first and then this and then this, like, do it in a logical place. Like, okay, the rock crock is the first thing. And now I'm going to talk about the grill pan. And now I'm going to do the manual food processor. And now I'm going to do the garlic press. And now I'm going to do this. Whatever you can do to help yourself move it along. In-person parties, virtual parties, live stream parties, the one thing you never want to have is silence. Dead time, nothing happening, no engagement, nothing. I mean, yeah, I talked for 40 minutes straight with barely taking a breath, okay? That's practice. With the world as it is now, you can grow that from individual live demos to a full live stream demo. You can jump right in and do what I did. I mean, Pampered Chef Consultants have been doing it for 38 years, 35 years at least, where it was all in person. This is all what we all did, is we jumped right in and we got up in front of people and we went, ah. And guess what? Nobody died from it. Okay.
That's right.
We all started with the same kit.
Yep.
It's what you do with it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, if you're not comfortable, everybody's got to find their own thing. Okay. If you want to sing and dance, sing and dance. If you want to be all about facts and figures, okay, I personally would fall asleep, but do what you find. Be passionate about it, whatever it is. If you're a baker and you don't want to talk about food or dinner, okay, own it. Just find a way to use the rock crock and the cookware and the knives in doing that.
There's a way.
Right.
Peggy says to practice with your family.
Right. It's a tax write-off. I feed my family and I write it off. Okay. I don't even know what I would do without it. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Or you can do a dance like Debbie Cook does. I see Debbie. I see you there. Debbie does the rock crock dance. Right. She does at her live shows. This is Debbie Cook.
No, but it shows where it's going. So it's like it can go from the stovetop to the oven to the microwave to the barbecue, and I kind of just move back and forth where it goes. And Patty Masserino called it the rock crock dance. But It makes them visualize where it can be cooked. Because sometimes when you just say it, they don't listen. But if you're showing, hey, look, it can go on the stovetop. You can do this, that, whatever. You can go in the oven. It can go in the broiler. It can go in the microwave. Well, that's where my microwave is, I say. Then you can go outside and put it on the barbecue. And you can put it back in your refrigerator and take it out the next day and put it on the heat. So I'm like, and that's the rock dance. And then they start laughing. So you want them to have fun is bottom line. Right?
That's right. So.
Thank you for sharing that, Debbie.
I saw you. I had to pick on you.
All right. Did I miss any questions, Riel?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
All right. Our goal is just to finish a little early on all our things. So
Yep.
give you the gift of time, as they say.
There you go.
I hope you guys come and join us tomorrow. We have a packed day of some amazing training. It's just going to be like really important, not only in general, but also for right now, for the change of seasons, for the way our business and our world is shifting. We've got some really great ideas, right? Some really great trainers lined up. We're going to open with Frial tomorrow, so don't miss that.
Oh, I'm so pretty in the morning. Fair warning.
That's
And
why it's 10 o'clock.
Saturday, so I'll be in my pajamas. Just so you know. No, I'm only kidding. Okay.
You don't know what it's below the belt here.
Thank you. We cut off at the forehead here.
All right.
But bring your questions, right?
What did you say?
Bring your questions. That's what I said.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm not muted. My husband just said something. What did you say?
This is real world.
Yes, it is. All right.
This is Louis goes, this is one time he's glad he's got to go to work in the morning. So that's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, payback's going to be a bitch. All right.
All right.
So guys, come, what is it? Come correct now. Come prepared tomorrow morning, guys. We really do have a great day for you. The great thing about joining our retreat too and registering and stuff, you know what? You're in the group now. So you're going to have access to all of these to be able to go back to and refer to. So you don't have to memorize. That's why I was sort of laughing at Laura when she goes, oh, you don't have to memorize. I memorize everything, guys. I mean, I am that neurotic. And, but you have to do what works for you. What is that saying? Do you, boo?
Do you, boo?
Right? I hate these things. It is so not me. But anyways, so we do have a lot coming for you tomorrow, guys. So you made a great decision by joining us, and you're not going to want to ever miss another training like this. So we do have a lot coming up tomorrow. So we're going to let you go now, get a good night's sleep, and get your coffee mugs to share with us tomorrow. So we're going to see who's got the best coffee mug tomorrow. I always love to see people's coffee mug. So we purposely are starting at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, guys. Well, 9:45 with the intros and stuff, because we don't want you to ever miss Coffee Talk. So make sure you guys, especially, go check out Coffee Talk in the morning, 15 minutes, half an hour, and then hop on to us and get some, even more and, a lot more training. So we'll just keep your day going for you. All right. So Jen, you want to wrap it up, babe?
Yep. All right, guys. So at 9:45 tomorrow, I will hop on Facebook Live to give you some instructions on how everything is going to work logistically tomorrow. Just a couple little things. So make sure you bring a notebook, do some stretches so you don't get writer's cramp, and we look forward to spending the day with all of you tomorrow.
And bring your questions, because we are going to have an amazing panel at the end of the day that we're going to, we really want to make sure everything is answered, because I know with these things, sometimes people just don't get their questions answered and then it disappears. So make sure you write it all down, because we're going to have time. We're going to have lots of time at the end for questions.
Yep, absolutely. All right, everyone. Have a great night. See you all
Good night,
tomorrow.
Everybody. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go eat a salad.
Okay. Enjoy.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
everybody.
Bye.
That's no fair. Save me some. That's my favorite.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I know I'm down the shore. It doesn't help.
Oh, that doesn't help at all.